Hello everyone, I'm Miss Carrie here at the New Jersey State Museum. Welcome to Small Explorers. Small Explorers, this month we're going to look at the different ways that we get around over land and sea. We're going to talk about transportation. So what are some of the ways that you and your family get around? Do you take a bus, a subway, a train, a car? How do you get where you need to go? So today we're going to explore how we travel over water. Boys and girls, how do you get across a body of water? An ocean, a river, a lake? What do you need? You need a boat. And I'm here in Pretty Big Things today to look at a couple of the boats that we have on display here at the New Jersey State Museum. All right, explorers, today I have two sign language signs for you. Our first sign is boat. So to make a boat, you're going to take both hands and put them together to make a little boat. And then you're going to bob it up and down on the water. Boat. Boat. One more time, nice and slow. Boat. All right, and our second sign is float. Boats are made to float on the water. You're going to take both hands, spread out your fingers and put them flat, facing the ground. And you're just going to float them along on your imaginary river. Pretend your hands are floating on a river. So we have a boat that floats. Small Explorers, the first boat that we're going to look at is called a Barnegat Bay Sneak Box. Why would you need to sneak around on top of the water? Let's see, I see some duck decoys. These are carved wooden duckies. Very beautifully painted. So this boat was actually used for duck hunting. The duck decoys would be thrown out on ropes behind the boat and pulled along as it moved through the water. And the boat would be taken to very shallow areas, marshlands. You guys see how shallow this boat is? It's very broad and flat. It's not very tall. So it could move through shallow water, but I don't see how it moved. Boys and girls, I don't see a sail or an engine. How do you think this boat moved through the water? What did you need to do? Let's take a look at our other boat for clues. Friends, let's take a look at the size and shape of our second boat. Boats have different shapes and ways of getting around based on what they're used for. So this boat's kind of long and skinny. What do you think it's made of? Yep, this boat is wood. It's got two pointy ends. And we can see how this one got through the water. This one has a paddle. Do you think the Barnegat Sneak Box also had a paddle? It probably did. Now this boat is a racing canoe. This one is for fun or for sport. Small Explorers, have you ever been out in a canoe or a kayak? Or know anybody who has? It's awful fun. All right, Explorers. So for today, I have a sensory bin activity for you, especially for our younger explorers, our 2- and 3-year-olds. And you can do this with a shallow container of water. Or if you want to try this out in the bathtub for bath time, that's fun too. So we're going to play float or sink. And this is an experiment with buoyancy, finding out if each object will float or sink and kind of thinking about why. So if our preschool friends are going to try this out with our family members or caregivers, before you try to float or sink each object, talk about its size and shape, how heavy or light it is, what it's made of, and make a prediction. Will it float or will it sink? And then let's try and figure out why. So for this experiment today, I have 6 objects here, and you can choose 6 from around your house. These are just what I had around. We have a fairly large feather. That's nice and light. We have a very large wooden coaster. This is our biggest object. Do you think this will float or sink? We have a metal jar lid, also very flat and round. These two have a similar shape. We have a little dragon who's made out of ceramic. That means he's kind of like he's pottery. And I have these 2 dice. They're the same size and the same shape, but they're made out of different materials. The white one is plastic, and this one is metal, like the metal jar lid. So let's see. Will our objects float or sink? Let's start with the feather. It's big, but it's very light. What do you think, small explorers? Will our feather float or sink? Let's mark that one off as floating. So we'll put that over here in the floating pile. And how about our dragon? Dragon sinks. He is heavy enough to sink, and he's pretty small. How about our smaller objects, the dice? So this one is plastic and pretty small. Oh, that sank right to the bottom. It rolls around pretty easy, but it definitely sinks. So put that over here with the dragon. How about our other die? Oh, yeah, that sunk right away. So this one's heavy and metal and small. And it's harder to push around in the bowl. How about our jar lid? This is metal too. What do you think? Will it float or sink? Oh. That one definitely floats. So put that over here with the feather. And how about our biggest object? This one's made of wood. What do you think, friends? Will it float or sink? Let's find out. Oh, it's the biggest thing that I picked, but it definitely floats. So we have our 3 objects that float and our 3 objects that sink. I wonder if any of these would make a good boat for the objects that sink. Oop. There we go. So this is a fun activity. Oh no! There goes the dragon. This is a fun activity to play around with. So gather a bowl of, a flat-bottomed container of water and 6 objects from around the house. Try out different sizes, shapes, materials, and see what works. Small Explorers, thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, you matter and your family matters. So stay safe and keep learning. I'll see you next time.